Hey guys, I'm going to do a video real quick. This one in regards to UFC 285. The return of Jon Jones, and he's going to be facing Cyril Gane. Starting off with Derek Brunson against Dricus du Plessis. I think Derek should probably just look to solely wrestle in this fight. I think on the feet, Derek's probably going to be at a pretty big disadvantage in terms of the striking, and I feel like Dricus is going to be able to capitalize on that. Plus, Dricus is quite a bit younger than Derek is. Derek, now 39 years old, he's approaching the later stages of his career. And Dricus is just on a roll lately, so I'm going to go with Dricus to place. Now moving on to Cody Garbrandt against Trevin Jones. This one does worry me. I think a lot of people became fans of Cody Garbrandt when he was on his rise, knocking everybody out, undefeated still. And as of late, he's just had a very bad run. I mean, ever since he fought TJ Dillashaw, he just hasn't seemed to have been the same. He's picked up a win or two here and there after that, but we've seen him get finished quite a few times since TJ. And with Trevin Jones, that's a very well-rounded fighter, and I worry for Cody, especially because of the reach disadvantage, that Trevin may just be able to do whatever he pleases with Cody in there. Now, Cody can get a bit reckless and a bit unpredictable, but something's telling me Trevin Jones is going to win this fight. Now, I will be rooting for Cody Garbrandt because I like him and want him to win, but I feel like Trevin Jones is probably going to win this fight. And now moving on to Bo Nickal against Jamie Pickett. Now, Bo Nickal is making his UFC debut here, while Jamie Pickett's been in the UFC for almost 3 years now. Bo Nickal gained a lot of momentum through the Contender Series with 2 very quick wins, and Jamie Pickett has put on some pretty exciting fights. So this one very much interests me, but I feel like Bo Nickal is going to be able to pretty much do what he's done in his past 3 fights, which is go in real quick, hit a big strike, maybe shoot for a big takedown, and just dominate from there. So I'm going to be taking Bo Nickal. Moving on to Mateusz Gamrot against Jalen Turner. This one's going to be very interesting. Mateusz Gamrot is a very excited fighter. He's a very solid, well-rounded fighter, and so is Jalen Turner in all aspects. Now, with Jalen Turner, he's going to have a 6.5-inch reach advantage along with a 5-inch height advantage. So he's obviously going to be the bigger fighter in the cage. But I feel like Mateusz Gamrot has the ability to get in and push the pressure on Jalen Turner and cause him to mess up. And I feel like he may even have the grappling advantage here. So I'm going to be taking the gamer Mateusz Gamrot. And now one that I'm personally very excited for, Jeff Neal against Shavkat Rakhmonov. And I've been kind of on this guy's case as of late. And I think he definitely has the potential to be a UFC future champ. I mean, he has seemed perfect in every category, every department. He made Neil Magny look like easy pickings in the grappling department, and that's Neil Magny was supposed to have the advantage there. Now, Jeff Neal's also very well-rounded. He's got the grappling, he's got the striking, but I feel like Shavkat's going to come into this fight, and no matter how he chooses to approach this fight, he's going to walk out of the cage with a win. So I'm going to be taking Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's a guy I'm very excited for and very interested in watching in the future. 16-0, I'm taking Shavkat. And now the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko against Alexa Grasso. Flyweight title on the line. This is going to be a very good matchup. I think it's a pretty even matchup, but I still, in every way, feel like Valentina is better than just about every woman in the flyweight division. Any Valentina fight is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm going to take Valentina every time. But Alexa Grasso has great boxing. We saw her showcase some pretty good grappling in her past couple of fights, and she has been on a tear through the flyweight division. She is 4-1 in her last 5 fights, and we haven't seen her really have too much trouble in getting to this point. But I still feel like Valentina Shevchenko is just a superior fighter, so she's going to keep holding on to her belt. I'm going to take Valentina Shevchenko. And now the main event of UFC 285. This one has a lot of people hype. This one is going to be seen by a lot of people. This is the return of Jon Jones, and he's going to be facing Cyril Gane. It's been 3 years since Jon Jones' last fight, where he fought Dominic Reyes, and a lot of people think that he lost that fight. But that was 3 years ago. That's not what we're here to talk about. Now, Cyril Gane is one of the best heavyweights in the world right now. He's got great striking, very fast striking, by the way. He's got fast feet. He is a very movement-heavy heavyweight, which is not something we see very often. Likes to touch and get away from his opponents, and then touch and get away, and then touch and get away. We haven't seen him really grapple too much. It's been reported that he's pretty decent in it, but he's going against Jon Jones. Jon Jones has been out for 3 years, but I feel like he's one of the very few people on the planet that you can give a time of absence to, and he would still come back as good as he was when he last was here. And Jon Jones is just soundly perfect in all areas of fighting. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you want to be in the clinch with him, you're in danger. If you want to stand with him, you're in danger. If you want to go to the ground with him, you are in danger. So really, this fight, from the fans' point of view, is being looked at as a murder. This is going to be the return of Jon Jones, and from the looks of it, he seems very motivated, very determined to come back and prove he's still here, he's still got it. And it's really hard to not look at this fight like that because Cyril's been going through everybody aside from Francis and Ngannou, but Jon has been going through everybody with no exceptions for a long, long time, over a decade now. I mean, the one loss on his record is a disqualification in a fight where he was winning that fight. I mean, dominating that fight. Like, if it had gone to the judges' scorecards, he would have been given the fight. But he threw an illegal elbow, and they disqualified him for it. But there is interest in Jon Jones coming into this fight with a new body frame. He's going to be much heavier. He's going to be much bigger than he ever was before. And obviously that can slow you down. It can affect the way you fight and make things a bit harder, a bit more difficult, probably take off the cardio a little bit. But in this case, I just don't see that happening for Jon Jones. I feel like this Saturday, Jon Jones is going to be crowned the new heavyweight champion of the world. It's just a shame that he never fought Ngannou for it. It's a shame that that's not the fight we're looking at right here. Because that's a fight that ultimately we all wanted as fans. But just a lot of things outside of the octagon couldn't get handled, and sadly we can't get that. Personally, I would have liked to see Jon Jones versus Curtis Blaydes for this title. I mean, I already had my mind made up before Francis left the UFC that if he was to leave the UFC and Jon does come back, I would prefer it to be against Curtis Blaydes for the title. Because Ciryl Gane is coming off of a loss to Francis, and Curtis Blaydes has been on a run lately. He's been very much improving in every department. He's actually seemed to want to strike more. And I thought that, along with the size and the grappling, I feel like that would be the biggest challenge for Jon Jones in this heavyweight division. But in this fight with Ciryl Gane, I'm going to be taking Jon Jones. So that's all I got for y'all. Hit like, subscribe, and all that.